There we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into our next series here. A fresh best of 3 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss player himself, the Italian Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is LetaleX. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing his new team, Stouty Balls. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. But yeah, I don't think any of the top players, I'm referring to like Hero, Classic, Showtime, Skilless, Max Packs, I don't think any of them, I don't think any of them wants the Sentry to be reverted and to make PvP more chaotic than it already is. Yeah, I don't see any top Protosses like pushing for that sort of thing. I guess you can want a more chaotic early game, but I think it is still very chaotic. Like the thing, like I don't know. I think there's a stronger argument to be made that there's more issues right now in PvP that needs to be kind of like resolved first. Yeah. There's a lot there. But for now, we have our PvZ. Settling in. We do have our hatch gas pool, standard opener out of YoungYakov. Likewise, we have our standard opener out of LetaleX as well. Nothing crazy. Now, when it comes to our two players here, especially coming into Ruby Rock, YoungYakov, he is typically a very aggressive player in the mid game, especially. We've seen a lot of all-ins, and coming into Ruby Rock, we're expecting an all-in here, right? We're expecting 3-base aggression, 3-base play, maybe a 4th base just for larva, and we're expecting to see just a heavier, like aggressive mid game here off of a lower drone count. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on YoungYakov. Again, we don't really get to cover him as regularly as we used to, but here we go. Such a weird team name. Yo, shout out to again, if you maybe haven't been tuning into much StarCraft as of late, Stouty Balls is a new team that did come about, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, picking up YoungYakov, Shameless, Nickrat, and GG Machine, and they have their own Patreon, and basically it's a small team funded by a very passionate guy that's specifically supporting those 4 players. Again, it's YoungYakov, Shameless, Nickrat, and GG Machine all join their new team. And they're competing in the Wardy Team League. There it is, Stouty Balls. I still don't know if it's Stouty or Stouty. I don't fully know the correct pronunciation. I'll vary it up. Oof. Alex being very annoying here. Okay, gonna be delaying the expansion a little bit longer. Can he kill the drone? Oh, not quite. Not quite able to get in. 3rd base is being thrown down. So far, a standard build here as the 3rd base was delayed, but we do build up into it. So Yakov does expand. Behind this, LetaleX setting up for his own 3rd, going for his own Stargate into Oracle behind this. Oh, and there it is, early Roach Horn. That's a 3:30 Roach Horn timing here by YoungYakov. If you recall, at the beginning of this series, we mentioned how YoungYakov is known for his aggressive builds, and we did expect to see some all-ins. My assumption was it was going to be a 3-base all-in, but we might even delve into a 2-base or even a 2.5-base all-in instead. We'll see how hard YoungYakov commits into all these roaches. Ooh, doesn't save the Overlord. Overlord gets shut down, but does snipe the Stalker. Nice pickup. Does at least punish the Stalker. Behind this, YoungYakov cutting workers at 35. No extra gases. And here come the first wave of roaches. Here we go, 7 roaches are on the way. That's a 7 getting up to 9, and there are no drones. Yep, no drones. So Yakov, he's committing here, cutting workers at 35. Again, a very low drone count. Roaches are welling across the map. Lings are rushing across the map as well. Yakov is completely all in, and the Overseer, sorry, the Oracle just now confirms. Yeah, does now scout, does now confirm. Late scout here by our Protoss. And back at him, he has to get ready. We have shield battery being thrown down to the natural. I don't see LetaleX saving the 3rd. It's just too late for that. The natural, we'll see. Void Ray is now on the way as well. But again, only seconds to react. So Yakov does move in. It does break through. Oh, jeez, does force field in time. Throws down the force field. Is going to be broken. The army does flood in. And do we have enough DPS here to outpower the... Yeah, we do. We just thrown the army away. I was going to say, can we out DPS the shields, the healing of the shield batteries? But they're not going to come into play. The boys are being pulled. Probes are going down. And with that, this is critical damage. Catching up the Stalker. And 1, 2 Stalkers go down. I also just realized I didn't get to open up predictions. I was so engrossed. I was engrossed in the game. Toasted Pylon goes down. 14 probe kills. Things they keep flooding in. They keep finding more workers. Oh, does wall off in time. It does fully wall off, but that's still going to be, what, 23 plus probes going down. Insane damage in the main. Critical damage, Pappy. The battery doing what they can. Behind this, YoungYakov finally does drone. So now he's droning up to 50 workers, taking gases. 4th base is now on the way. Enough damage has been done, even catching all 3 Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. 3 Stalkers go down. Behind this, there's no upgrade. There's no +1. There's no blink. There's no charge. There's no follow-up here. There's no counterattack. So Yakov, he's free to just saturate. Just saturate, drone on up, get his expansion. Hydrogen is on the way as well and can switch into Ling Hydra. So crippling damage was dealt. Again, unfortunately, LetaleX had very little time to react and very little time to respond. Didn't quite recognize where the gas was being spent early on. And GG. Yeah, GG gets called. He does see the saturation, and YoungYakov takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Yakov does claim the first game here. Again, unfortunately, LetaleX, he was unaware as to how much danger he was in. He was unaware as to the all-in that was coming his way. By the time he realized what was happening, it was too late to react. Like, he threw down 3 shield batteries. It was also unfortunate that he took a fight out of range of the batteries, if you recall. He pulled his units away towards the ramp and not towards the batteries, so the naturals broke it even faster as a result. And GG. GG, well played. With that, so we do see YoungYakov claiming the first game, and we'll see if LetaleX can recover and bounce back. We'll see. We shall see. So we're getting ready here for game number 2. Oh, I believe Shameless has his own series. Yeah. He's got his own matchup. And we'll see if LetaleX can get a better idea as to what YoungYakov is up to. As you recall, we did mention now we did expect to see an all-in out of YoungYakov, especially on a map as small as Ruby Rock. Now we're loading into a much larger map. There's a higher chance that Yakov drones and saturates as we are loading into Winter Madness. Oh. Un momento. Okay. There was a bit of an issue, but we're going to be loading into Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a larger map of the map pool, so again, we do expect to see droning, saturation. This is where muted play is more accessible, so we can see muteds hit the field. Likewise, we can also see a more standard game at LetaleX building up in towards a longer mid-game, building up his robo count, potentially building up into Skytoss as well. So we do have a little more options here. We do have a little more greed available to our players as well. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Italian Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is LetaleX. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself, representing Stalliables, it is YoungYakov. Yeah. Here we go, and welcome to Winter Madness. Again, we do expect to see more droning, more saturation here. Remember, it was a 3:30 Rotorn timing last game. We might end up going into a faster layer this time instead. Eyes are on Yakov. Here we go. ZvP does move out to scatter across the map. From here we can settle in. Once again, the onus is going to be on LetaleX to scout across the map to build up into his oracles and to ensure that there's droning going on, that gases are being taken, and that there's further tech on the way. Again, it is going to be on LetaleX. So now he does ensure that we have a standard opener. I will see if he can delay the third base once again. You can argue that the all-in was potentially a reaction to the delayed third, but potentially. But I feel like he would have gone for it anyway. Especially on Ruby Rock. As there is the tech of choice, opening up Stargate. Stargate opener out of LetaleX. From here, it can expand, build up into triple oracle. But once again, it's going to be on those oracles to confirm what's happening. LetaleX does pick forward. He picks in. This time the third base has been thrown down. He's got his third. So here we have a much more tame early game. By this point last game, there was already a Roach Warren. As you can see, there's no Warren. Like, as we mentioned before, like, this map isn't really conducive to all-ins, so it's much more standard to just drone, saturate, build up to 3 bases. The question now becomes, do we see a faster Roach Warren, a faster Lair, a faster Evo Chamber? Like, how is YoungYakov going to be spending his gas early on? That's the first kind of big question. Do we build up into Ling Hydra? Do we go Roaches? Do we go into Mutas? Eyes are on Yakov. You know what? It's going to be Lair first. Okay, so Lair first at Yakov. That's going to be at around 4:13. At the same time, Twilight Council and Forge follow-up here. Looks like a standard timing at LetaleX going into +1 and Blink. We have seen a lot of +1 and charge-based follow-ups be quite popular in the last couple of months. Oh. Hello. Curious if we are indeed going to charge, and potentially an Archon follow-up as well. So eyes are on LetaleX, safety Roach Warren out of YoungYakov. Again, thrown down at around 4:40, 4:30. So far, good reactions, pulls away against the Oracle, and we do have charge. Again, the tell here was just the early Robo, which is not normal with a Blinkstalker based build. So early Robo going to charge. This can lead into a faster Temple Archives in towards Archons and Storm. Otherwise, we could see a Gateway Explosion. Oh, meanwhile, we have the answer here. It is going to be Mutas. Did mention this was more of an option here on Winter Madness. So Muta play out of YoungYakov. Now the question becomes, when does LetaleX hit? Because he is building up the Archons, as we mentioned. Gateway Explosion. He may not take his gases, and he may stay on 3 bases to go for a big 3-base all-in instead, because that is a lot of gateways here from LetaleX. Going up to 8. Does rotate between the bases. Confirms gases, confirms the lair is done, but does not get eyes on the lair. Currently, LetaleX has incomplete information, but he might blindly go for a big timing anyway and might be able to punish. He's taking his gases. Okay. He's taking his gases here. This is an indication of a longer game. Here comes the Archon drop. ZvP can warp in across the map to reinforce. Forcing a recall. Oracle does race back home. And the Oracle will defend. Zealots are revealed. Yakov, he knows. Where are the Zealots? There we go. We do barely warp them in. Queens go for the prism. No, he denies the warp in. Oh my god. The warp in is denied. Roaches, they do shut this down completely. And YoungYakov, he does defend. He does defend. And the scariest thing about what just happened here is that LetaleX, he deals no damage. He also did not scout. He doesn't know. Mutas are coming. Mutas are coming. LetaleX, he is completely exposed. There's no cannons, no batteries, no blink stalkers. There are Archons at least. And Mutas now revealed. Yeah, they're now revealed. The Archon's going to get surrounded. We can hunt down the prism. Yeah, the War Prism cannot escape. Recall's on cooldown. Now, at least LetaleX forced the revelation of all these Mutas early. That's true. But rough position nonetheless. Late reactions. Phoenix is on the way. The Mutas are coming. And he does hit that natural. Honestly, Yakov can fight this. He can turn and fight. Zealots, they do get a kill. Yeah, kill or cancel. Phoenix does go down. Gets a Phoenix. Gets a Stalker. Takes off 2. Barely doesn't get 3. It doesn't get that 3rd Stalker. We can see YoungYakov forced all the way back home. Nice run by here by LetaleX. Nice run by. Even getting into the main. Focus firing drones. And where exactly are we? There's still potential with these Mutas, and they find another Stalker. Oof. I mean, again, there's no blink, right? There's no blink, so these Stalkers, they get picked up one after the other. Catching out a Phoenix. Not quite diving for the mineral line. T-powering the Stargate. Nice pickup. Takes on the Stargate, pulls away, catching out an Oracle as well. Massive pickup here from YoungYakov. Just dancing in between the bases. And LetaleX just cannot keep up. The cannons are doing what they can. There's what? A handful of Stalkers. Oof, even catching an Immortal as well. Brutal pickup. The Immortal goes down to 1 Phoenix, down to a handful of Stalkers here, and Yakov, he's done it. He has broken the natural, just devastating damage. Again, it was just so unfortunate that it was this game that LetaleX happened to be going for charge, and he did not commit. He needs to commit even harder, needs to scout what was going on. GG gets called, and with that YoungYakov, he will claim the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, there was potential here for LetaleX winding it back. He was going for an early charge timing, and I thought he was going blindly into a 2-base all-in, but he wasn't. He took his gases. There were signs, indications that he was going for a longer and later game instead, so he went for later timing. He got across the map, the warp-in was denied, and with that, what could have dealt devastating damage was stifled, right? There were just 2 Archons, barely any Zealots to support them, and the timing fell flat, and Mutas, they snowball out of control. Right, when you go into Mutas like this, there is a window in time pre-Muta that the Zerg player can be punished, and they can just die then and there, but we saw that the timing hit too late. It wasn't too committed either, and as a result, you saw the Mutas just snowball out of control, and because of the build choice of LetaleX, he was that much more unprepared for the Mutas. Because he did not play Blink, he played Charge, right? He did go into Charge. That meant that there was a bit of like a small window, a small time frame where his army could actually be effective before he was being stuck or being forced back home, and before he was forced to defend, and again just was woefully underprepared for something like Muta play. GG. GG, well played. With that, YoungYakov does claim the series, 2-0, does advance on into the next round, and let's catch up on that bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves.